In today's video, we're going to be making ourselves a 4-page website for a local duo called Tom and Kayla. If we have a look through the site, we've got a home page here which very briefly tells you about the duo. We've got a music page which at the moment only has a sound file of a recent radio recording they did. We can add some more things in there like some videos and sound files as that media comes available. We've also got a page for gigs that will talk about upcoming gigs they've got, and they've also got a contact page where you can get in touch with them. Okay. The special thing with this website though, we're going to make it responsive, which means it can be viewed at different screen sizes. So if you're looking at this site on a mobile phone, it will change some of the size of the pictures and text accordingly. So if we just resize our browser here, you can see this is what it would look like on a mobile phone. It's still easily readable. Let's just squish the menu in like this. It's also made the picture in the background and the text a bit smaller. Okay, if we stretch it out to size about 768 pixels, which is the size of an iPad screen. I'll just get it right. That's about it there. This is what it would look like on an iPad screen. So again, our menu's squished down a little bit, but our picture's getting a bit bigger than what it was on a mobile phone screen, and our text is getting a little bit bigger. Okay, the table fits in nicely. We've got our contact page. And then we can just go back to our full screen, which is the desktop screen size. You can see this picture's a lot larger now and the text becomes larger. The menu just goes out to one line. So basically our website will be responding to whatever screen size our viewers are looking at this website on. Okay, so let's get started. We'll go over to our accounts first of all today, make ourselves a new folder here called Lesson 13 Tom and Kayla. Inside that folder, we're going to make another folder called Images. You'll need to copy and paste a few images in from Curriculum Drive. We've got 3 social media icon pictures there. They're going to go on the contact page. We've also got 3 pictures of the band themselves. And we've also got a text document, which is a link to a SoundCloud audio file, and that's going to go on the music page. Okay, you can delete that text document once you put the link into your website. Alrighty, so let's head over to brackets and we'll get started on coding this site up. So we'll go to File and New. We're going to save 4 pages here. Okay, so the first one that we load up, we're going to go to Save As, find our Tom and Kayla folder we just made, and we're going to call it index.html. Remember to always call the home page index. Okay, that's the first one. The second page, we're going to go to File, Save As, and we're going to call it music.html. And then click on Save. We'll go to File and Save As one more time, and we will call this one gigs.html. And finally, the last Save As will be contact.html. Alrighty, so I'm just going to close that off for a minute because we've got the contact page open. I don't want that open at the moment. In your account now, you should have 4 pages. Okay, we've got contact, gigs, index, and music. The one you want to open is the index or the home page. So I'm just going to right click and open with brackets, or you can drag it into brackets. Do whatever you need to do to get it open. Alrighty, so we're good to go now with our coding. So let's start like usual with our doc type tag at the top. So doc type HTML. And we'll do our HTML brackets. Beneath that we'll do our head section. And inside the head section we'll give our page a title. The title today is Tom and Kayla. Now you'll notice when I do the and sign or the ampersand sign there, it goes red. That's because HTML doesn't like that symbol on its own. You actually have to write in the and sign and then put AMP after it with a semicolon. A little bit painful, but that is the little piece of code there that will let you do that ampersand sign. Okay, that's all we're going to put in our head section for the minute. We're going to come back and add some links in there to our style sheet, and we're also going to do something new and download some web fonts, which we link up in our head section as well, but that's going to come later. For now, we want to go down below the head section and start our body. Okay, I'm going to give myself a bit of room. Now I'm going to learn a new tag today. The tag we're going to learn today is called the header tag. This header tag is new in HTML5. Okay, and what that is, it's basically just a descriptive tag name for the header section that goes at the top. So if I go back to the example web page here, it's going to be this section that goes across the top of each page. So the picture, the name of the band, and the menu bar. That's going to be our header section. Okay, it doesn't do anything fancy, it's just a descriptive name for all the stuff that's going to go inside the header section. Okay, so first of all, inside the header section, we might as well write the band name. And that's going to be Tom. Remember to do the and amp semicolon. Tom and Kayla. What I'm going to do is actually push Kayla down to the next line. So I'm going to make a line break. And we do that by adding the BR space / tag. This stands for a line break, and it basically just pushes the text down to the next line. Okay. I'm going to press Ctrl S and save this, and I'm going to just open this up in my live preview mode here, and we're going to have a look at how this page is going. Hopefully just got Tom and Kayla written on our page at the moment, with Tom on one line and we've got Kayla on the second line. Yep, so that's looking good. Below that, we're going to add in our menu bar. Okay, we will style this section up in just a moment. I just want to get the menu bar written in as well. So I'm going to go down, I'm going to create an unordered list. Remember, menu bars always come as part of an unordered list. I'm going to do a list item, so the first item in our menu, and it's going to say home. The next line, we'll add another list item in, and this one's going to be music. After the music one, we're going to put another list item in, and we're going to write gigs. And below gigs, we'll do one last list item that says contact. Make sure your unordered list is closed off, and then the next line will have your header section closed off. Let's just save that up now by pressing Ctrl S and going and previewing that. Okay, looking good. So we've got our title, which is Tom and Kayla. We've also got our menu bar. Alrighty, that's our header section all written in. We just need to style it up now. So back to brackets. Let's start the styling process. Okay, we're going to first of all need to make a new document. And we're going to save this document as style.css, and that's going to need to go in our Tom and Kayla folder as well. So look for your Tom and Kayla folder, just save it where all the other pages are. Style.css, this is our style sheet. Okay, now you should have your index page and your style page open on the left hand side here. Now before we get too fancy, we're just going to style up the basic components of our page. So let's go over to this style sheet. And let's change our background color first of all. So I'm going to write in the HTML tag there at the top and open up a curly brace. Now in HTML5, which is the latest version of HTML, you don't have to write background-color anymore to change your background color. You can simply write the word background. So save yourself a bit of writing, and just write background. And what we want to write in is black. We want a black background. A semicolon will finish off the line of code, and then close your curly brace. So make sure you got that spot on. HTML is going to affect anything that's inside these HTML tags. That's basically the whole page. And all we're going to do is affect our background by changing it to black. So press Ctrl S to save your style sheets. Go back to your index page for a moment. If you preview this, you'll see that it still looks exactly the same. We've still got a white background and not a black one. And that's because we haven't connected our index page. We haven't connected it to our style sheet yet. So to connect them, link them up, just go below your title tag at the top. I'm going to go in the next line, and I'm simply going to open up a pointy bracket and write the word link rel equals style sheet. Put a space. After that we write type equals text /CSS, and then finally write href equals style.css. That just links it up to our style sheet. So that line of code right there basically links our index page up to our style sheet. So any styling that we've got written in here will be applied to our index page from now on. So if I go and preview it now, we should have a black background. The text is still there, it's just hiding away because it's black text as well. Just can't see it because the black text and black background obviously don't work well together. We will change that shortly. Back in brackets, let's go back to our style tag for a moment, and we'll style up the next section, which is the body. Okay, the body tags affect most of the page as well. What I want to change first of all is the background color to white. And close my curly brace off. If I save that up now, I should be able to see a white background in my body section, a black background in my HTML section, and you can see my font again now. Now the font we've got, I don't like it very much. Okay, this serif font, or Times New Roman, it looks like, doesn't look good on a web page. So I'm going to do something a bit different today when I change my font. What I'm going to do is go over to my web browser and open up google.com/fonts. And you'll end up on a page like this. It's the Google Fonts page. And as you scroll through here, you've got loads of different fonts that you can download and use in your web pages. These should work on pretty much any computer as long as it has an internet connection. Okay, and if you're looking at a website, you're obviously going to have an internet connection, so these fonts should work on anybody's computer or smartphone or iPad or whatever. Okay, so the font that I want to use, I already know which one it is. I'm going to go to this search box at the top and write in M-U-L-I, Muley. It's this font right here. I think it looks like a pretty decent font for my body text. So if I want to use this font, it's not installed on my computer, and I don't even have to install it on my computer. All I need to do is click this little arrow pointing to the right. It's called Quick Use. Okay, and as I scroll down, you can get to this section where it says add this code to your website. Okay, so this first line of code here, it's the link href, and it gives you a link to the font. You need to click on it and press Ctrl+C to copy. Go back to brackets, and in your index page, up near your other link, which you're linking to a style sheet, we're going to go to the next line, and we're going to paste in the link to that font. Okay, so it's basically going off to fonts.google and having a look around for that Muley font. And the last thing we need to do is just add a little bit of code into our style sheet to say to use that font. So the way we do that is go back to the internet. Number 4 now has a little bit more code where it says font family is Muley and sans serif. So I'll tell you about that in a sec as we go over to our body section. Copy and paste that in. So that goes inside our body section here. So what it's saying is, for our font, we're going to use Muley. If for some reason our users don't have access to the internet and can't see that font properly, we'll use sans serif font as a backup. Okay, but for now we should have Muley as our font. If I save that style sheet and go and preview my page now, you can see that our font has changed to Muley. Don't worry about that blue box, that's just brackets showing you what section we're working on at the moment. But you can see that our font has changed and it looks a lot nicer. Alright, so back into brackets, we'll just do one more style on the body section, and that's the line height. And we'll just make it 1.5 EM. That gives you 1.5 line spacing. So as I preview it now, got a bit of space between our lines of text. It's starting to look nice. So we'll go back to brackets and we'll keep moving. Now the next thing I want to do is start to make our header section look good. So here's our header section, which has the name of the band and the links. If we go back to the example page, this is what it's meant to look like. Nice picture in the background, cool font over here for the name of the band, and we've also got a nice looking menu bar. Alright, so let's get this header section styled up. First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to add in a few divs here. Okay, so I'm going to write in div. Instead of using the word ID, I'm going to use the word class at this time. And I'm going to call this class a spacer. Okay, just move that closing div tag, so press Ctrl+X to cut it out and move it below Kayla's name on the next line. Okay, so it comes just after Caleb and before the UL, or the unordered list. Okay, so this little section here is where I want to put the picture in the background. Okay, so what I'm going to do is go back to my style sheet, and in my style sheet I'm going to start by styling up the header first of all. So write in the word header. First of all, let's align our text in the center of that section and close the curly brace. If I save that, have a look, we'll see that our text has all gone centered, which is good for now. Back in brackets, we're going to change the background. And as I said before, I want a picture in the background this time. So write the word background. And if you want a picture in the background, you need to link it up. So write URL, open up a normal bracket, go into your images folder, and you're looking for bg.jpg. And put a semicolon at the end of the line. That simply says put a picture into our background in that header section only. So it's not going to affect our whole page. As I save this up, you'll see what that's done. It's put this background picture of Tom and Kayla into my header section here. Unfortunately, the picture's not wide enough to fill the whole page, so it started repeating itself. Looks quite ugly, so let's fix that problem. We'll just go into the next line, writing background dash size and making it cover. If you save that up and preview it, you'll see that the picture now stretches the entire way across the page. It's good to have nice high quality pictures that are fairly big in size, so if you are stretching a picture all the way across the page, it comes out nice and crisp. This picture's a little bit blurry, but that's all we've got to work with for this task, so let's just stick with it. The other thing I want to do is change our font color to white, so just write color and make it white. It's going to make it pretty hard to read for the minute, but we're going to change it a little bit later on. And actually that'll do for the header section for now, so just make sure you've got those 4 things in. Text align, change the background to a picture. We've made the background size a cover, and our color, which is our text color, will be white. Okay, so our text is still there, just blending in with the background a bit too much at the moment. Right, back in brackets, what we're going to do now is style up that spacer. Okay, you might remember, oops, just delete that for a sec. You might remember back in my index page I wrote in div class equals spacer. Okay, what that's going to do is just affect the Tom and Kayla section where it's got the words Tom and Kayla. So back in my style sheet, the way I affect the spacer is write full stop and then the word spacer. You might remember when you used the word ID, you used a hashtag and would have wrote in spacer, but now that we're doing a class, we write dot spacer. Open up a curly bracket. I'm going to write height, and we're going to set it to 400 pixels and close off that spacer section. What that's going to do is just show us a bit more of that background picture. As you can see now, that's 400 pixels in size. Might even be a little bit too big. We'll have to check it a bit later on when we style up this menu bar, but not too bad for now. We can see a fair chunk of that picture. Alrighty, we'll keep going back to the index page now. We're going to get this menu bar looking good. Actually, yeah, we'll do the menu bar. Alrighty, so first of all, we've got our UL section that we need to style up. So in our style sheet here, let's find the UL section. We'll write in UL, open up a curly brace. First thing we want to write in is padding, and what we're going to do is make it 10 pixels. After we put the padding in, we're going to change the background color of this unordered list. So just write background. I'm going to do it a different way today. We're going to write RGBA. Okay, and we're going to do 0, 0, 0. That means the red, green, and blue sections are all zeros. So that, I think, makes it black. And then what we're going to do is put in our transparency, or our alpha. That's what the little A stands for just here. And the alpha we want to set to 0.5. Close the bracket, put a semicolon, and close that section off. So our list now has 10 pixels padding around the outside of it, and it's got a background color in. Let's just save it and have a look at what color that comes out as. Okay, so it was black, but I've used a bit of transparency and only made it 50% visible, so you can start to see the background shining through behind it. Okay, so that's looking a bit better already. We'll keep going. The next thing we can style up is our list items, so LIs. That's each individual hyperlink in this menu bar. So the list items, what we're going to do is display and make it inline. We're also going to do padding. What we're going to do here is 0 pixels first. That affects the left hand side of our page, or the little block where our menu is. After that we're going to do 30 pixels, which affects the top of our menu bar. So we've got 30 pixels padding at the top. On the right hand side we've got 0 pixels padding, and then on the bottom we've got 30 pixels padding. Now that sounds confusing, so let's just close the curly bracket and save that. And we'll see how that's affected each individual list item. Basically it's just put a bit of padding around each individual item and hopefully got it all onto one line for us. There we go. So you can see these blue boxes, they don't actually appear around our page, it's just that I've got them selected at the moment. If I click outside them, Okay, you won't see them. So we've turned our list into an inline style, which is just here. So the display's gone inline, which makes it all on one line. And we put a little bit of padding around each one. So you've got 30 pixels padding on the left and the right of each button. Okay, so that's our menu bar starting to look a bit better. One thing we haven't got in our menu bar yet, if we just go back to the index page, is the hyperlinks. We haven't linked them up. So let's do that now, and then we can make our menu bar actually work. So, first of all, we need to do our href tags. Just before the word home there, I'm going to write in href equals and link it to the index page. Don't forget this closing A tag needs to be cut out and put after the word home. Okay, so you've got the word home in between that hyperlink. Now it's basically the same for each menu item here. ahref equals, this time be music.html, and we'll move the closing A tag after music. On the next line, ahref equals, this time it'll be gigs.html. We'll move the closing A tag after gigs, and finally we'll do the contact one, so ahref equals contact.html. Move that closing A tag after contact. So that's put in a hyperlink for each menu item. So when we click on them now, they should take us off to the appropriate page. Okay, so you can see they've changed color now and turned into links. If I click on music, for example, it takes me to the music page. But we haven't done anything on the music page yet, so it's just an empty white document. I assume the other ones are working as well when we click on them. Yep. So we'll keep styling them up. In our style tag, okay, let's go over here, and what we're going to do is style up the links. So we simply need to write in the letter A and then open up a curly brace. First thing I want to do is change the color of those links to white. That'll change the text color to white. The other thing I'm going to do is change the text decoration to none, and that gets rid of the underline from under our links. So before they were blue and they were underlined, now we've changed the color to white and removed the underline. Save that up and test it. Yeah, looking good. So we've got rid of the underline, the text is white, those links are looking pretty good. One thing we've got to change though, or add in really, is a hover effect, which is basically a rollover effect. As we roll over the buttons, we want to have a bit of an effect appear. So we do A:hover. Okay, and then open up a curly brace. Now when we hover over one of these buttons, what do we want it to do? We simply want it to change color. So tell it what color you want it to change to. I'm going to go with a light grey color, so I'm going to write in hashtag AF, AF, AF. Put a semicolon and close my brace off. So that little section there simply says when we hover over a link, which is the A tag, change its color to that grey color. So now when I preview my document, I can hover over the text and it will change color. A little bit hard to see because we've got a black and white theme going on, and the grey kind of blends in there, but I think it's noticeable enough. So I'll leave it as is. Okay, that's starting to look pretty good. The next thing I want to style up, Tom and Kayla at the top. Okay, we can't see that, and it's a fairly boring font. Okay, that's fine for body text, that font, because it's easy to read. What I want to do though, make a real statement up the top, and in this big space over on the left here, I want to add in Tom and Kayla in some pretty fancy font, and I'm going to use another web font for that. So let's go to the web font page first of all. This is the example of how it's going to look. Okay, so over on Google Fonts, I'm going to go back to the main page. I'm going to search for a new font called Rock Salt. And that's the font that we're going to be using. So click on this little right arrow here, scroll down, there's the code, and there's the code that we need to use. Alrighty, so what we're going to do, we're going to copy this code first. So press Ctrl C, that's the link href, blah 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 blah. Go to the index page, up the top where you've got your links to your style sheet in the Muley font, we're going to go below that and paste in the new link now, which links your page to Google, and it looks for the Rock Salt font. Okay, it's not going to work just yet because we haven't styled up our page with it. Okay, we'll do that in just a moment. What I'm going to do next, underneath this div class equals spacer, I'm going to put in another div. Remember, divs are basically rectangular boxes that appear on the page. Once you style them up, you can actually see them. So I'm going to write div class equals, and I'm going to write band name, because we're styling up the band name, which is this section here pretty much. So after band name, I'll close my pointy bracket, and that closing div tag, it simply needs to go below Kayla. So click after Kayla, close that div tag off. So now all we're styling up is this little section here. So it's basically Tom and Kayla. Okay, so let's go over to our style tag now and style up band name. So in our style tag, I'm going to go down here to the bottom, and I'm going to do full stop band name and open up a curly brace. So this here is starting to style up our band name. First thing I want to do is change that font. So back on the Google Fonts page, we put in this section now, the font family Rock Salt. And if Rock Salt's not going to work on our users' computers, then Cursive is the backup font. So I'll copy and paste that in. There it is, just there. Okay, let's just close the brackets and see if that's working. So save your index page, save your style page, and if I hover over that text now and highlight it, we can see that our font has changed. It's just very small and in the wrong position, so let's get that sorted out and make this heading look good. There's quite a bit we need to do to style this up. So still inside the band name class over here, we're going to go below font family. First thing, let's align our text to the left. That will push it back over the left hand side of the page. We might change the font size. The font size I'm going to go is about 65 pixels. It's nice and big. The colour is already white, so hopefully it stays white. Let's just double check and make sure it's working. Yep, so it's still got white text. You can see it's all squished in over here on the left. I'm going to have to fix that now. So let's change the line height. I think it's 0. Actually, it's not 0, we'll go 1.85 EM. So it's almost double the line spacing. We'll see how that's going to look. I'll just press a few enters here. So far we've got our font as Rock Salt. It's aligned to the left of the page. It's nice and big. We put in some line spacing, and we can actually see Tom and Kayla now. It's starting to look better, a bit better. We need to add a bit of padding, I think, and some margins around this so it's not completely squished in that left-hand corner. So the next thing we might do is do margin dash left. I'm going to choose 7%. That should just push it in a little bit from the left hand side of the page. That gives us a bit of space between the left of the page and the start of the text, which is good. After margin left, let's put some padding at the top. So padding dash top. And we'll make it about 50 pixels. Doesn't have to be percentage, you can do pixels if you'd like, so I'm going to choose 50 pixels. Save that, and hopefully that's pushed it down a bit. Yep, so that's down pretty much in the center now of our header section. Looking good. And what else can we do? I might put a drop shadow behind this text. So what we'll do is text shadow. Now what this is going to do is 5 pixels, 20 pixels, and black. This is basically changing the size of our shadow and the blur effect on it and the color of it. Put a semicolon at the end and save it. Let's have a look at it now. Okay, that's looking good. We've got a nice black drop shadow that helps our text pop out off that background. It's pretty much in the right position there. It's not looking too bad at all. We'll go back to our document here. If anything, I'd probably just drop the height maybe to 350. It's going to just change the height of our picture, or our spacer class up here. Let's just preview that. Yeah, it just makes the picture a little bit smaller. It's looking pretty nice. I don't think there's anything else we need to change with that top section. So that's our header section, looking pretty nice. What we can do now is go back to brackets, and we're going to just finish off the bottom of the page now. It's the hardest part out of the way. So below the header section, in our body, we're going to start another section now. And another new tag you're going to learn today is called article. And it's basically just going to, it's like in a magazine when you've got a little magazine article. It's a little space on a web page where you can write an article of text. In this article, I'm going to do a H2 heading that says about. After the H2 heading, we're going to make a new paragraph and simply say Tom and Kayla are an acoustic duo made up of a guitarist, in brackets write Tom, who the guitarist is, and the singer, we'll write Kayla in brackets. The pair perform at local music venues on the Sunshine Coast and at special events. Alright, not much detail there. If you actually speak to Tom and Kayla and get some more information out of them, you can add some more in there if you would like. That's our article section all finished off. If we save it and have a look at it, doesn't look too flush at the moment because it's all squished in down there, but we will fix that a bit later. What I'm also going to put in is a second article, so that's down below that first one, and I'm going to put in a picture. So I'm going to do a new paragraph, and inside that paragraph I'm going to do an image source, images, and the picture I think will look good there is the one called wall.jpg. Let's close your bracket off. If you hover over that, you should see the picture that's going to appear in the page. If I save it, it's going to come out pretty big, I'd say. Sure is. So we will have to make that smaller in just a moment in our style tags. I just want to get all the writing in for now. Okay, that's our article section finished off. We've got the two articles written in. The last bit we want to put in at the bottom, one more new tag for you. It's called footer. Pretty self-explanatory. It's a little section of text that goes across the bottom of the page. So in that footer, we make a new paragraph and write copyright. Remember to do the copyright symbol. We have to write the and sign and copy, semicolon. 2016, Tom. To do the ampersand sign, we need to do that. And amp, Kayla. Sounds a bit confusing there, but that's going to be the bottom of our web page, the copyright statement. Above that we've got a picture, and above that we've just got a little article of text. Alrighty, so let's save that and have a look at how it's coming together. Text, picture, copyright. Just need to style them up now and get them looking good, and then we will be pretty much finished this first page. So let's go over to our style section, and we're going to have a look at styling up the article section first. Okay, so beneath all that header section, let's style up article. Okay, inside article we don't have to do too much. Instead of having it stretch the entire way along the page, I'm simply going to give it a max width of 768 pixels. That's about the screen size of an iPad or a tablet. Okay, so max width means our article won't go any bigger than 768 pixels. If I save that and test it, you'll see now that our text is limited to 768 pixels wide. Same with the picture, won't go any wider than 768 pixels. Okay, still looks a bit funny on the left there, so we might try and move it into the middle in just a moment. So inside our article here, let's do some padding. Make it 20 pixels around each side. And to center our text and our image, all you need to do is do a trick that says margin 0 auto. If you ever want to center something the quick way inside a div tag, do margin 0 auto. Save that now. We should have our text in the middle of the page. Our picture's a little bit big there. We're going to need to style that up and make sure it fits inside where this blue box is. We will do that in just a moment though. The other thing I just noticed, our H2 heading a little bit too small, so let's just make that a bit bigger really quickly. So down the bottom in your style tags, add in a H2 style tag and just change the size of the font. So we go font dash size 2.5 EM is what we're looking for our H2 headings in this site. So saving that up, you'll see that our heading will get a little bit larger. Now let's work on this picture. Okay, let's get this looking good. So what we need to do, I'll just give myself a bit of space at the bottom, is put in an image style tag. Open up a curly brace, and basically we want the max width of our image. Whoops. to be 700 pixels. That means it'll fit on our desktop view quite easily. So 700 pixels. What we're going to do next is also change the margin dash top to -5%. What that's going to do is move our picture just a little bit closer to the text above it. Just remove some of that margin at the top by making it -5. So that's all we need to apply to our picture. When we save that, see our picture comes into almost the same size as the text, and it's also a little bit closer to our text by removing some of this margin above it, or that space above it. Okay. Another thing we need to do back in our index section here, what we're going to do, where's our pick? Down the bottom here. Okay, what I'm going to change down here is the article class. Okay, I want to center my picture. So I'm going to simply write in article class equals pick. Okay, I don't want anything else in articles centered, so this article up here, I don't want anything centered in that. So in this article, I've had to give it a unique name. So class equals pick. Okay, so what I'm going to do in my style sheet is just style up that pick by going .pick, and to center it, all we need to do is do text align center. A weird way to go about it, but aligning the text in the center will also align that picture in the center of our little div section. So that picture now is in the center, which is good. Last thing we want to style up now is our footer section, which is our copyright statement. So let's add into our style sheet the footer style tag. Open up a curly brace. A few things we want to do to this. We want to make the background color black, so just write background black. Oops. On the next line, we want the text color to be white, so make color white. Our font size will just be a little bit smaller than the rest of the page, so font size 0.75 EM will be good. It's a little bit smaller than the usual font. We'll align it in the center of the page, so text align can be center. And we'll just put a bit of padding around it as well, so it's got a little bit of room to breathe. And that's it. That's our footer section, or our copyright statement. So put it at the bottom of the page, background black, white text, smaller font, and center aligned. If we preview that now, you can see it's done all of those things. That's it, just down the bottom. So that right there is our index page all finished off. I know it took a while because we had quite a lot of styling to do, but now that we've done that styling once, we don't really need to do it again because it's going to apply to all these music, gig, and contact pages when we make them in the next lot of videos. Alrighty, so that will do for now. Save it up as your index.html page and get ready for the next video where we finish off some of these other pages.